Look at these funny little pants. The mother and I went to Costco, and today the samples were great. I had one that was like a Dubai ice cream chocolate bar, so that's not something that I could just buy in front of my mom. So I'm so glad that I got a sample, and the sample was like a decently sized piece. I'm very satisfied. Why is this such an unnecessarily long word? Gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis. Guess what? What's this? Do you want it? Do you want it? Ooh! Oh my goodness! So excited! So excited! Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. Wait. So, as you can see, I made a bunch of posters and I stuck them on the wall. My sister says, "Oh my god, it looks so loud and blinding," or something like that, and obnoxious. And she's probably right, but maybe that's the point. If it's really obnoxious, I have no choice but to look at it every day, right? At this point of filming, I am 2 weeks out from the exam. And I am still rather far from my goal score, but then my goal score is also a very high score, for the reason being that my parents will get me a third dog if I get a really high score. So it makes sense that the threshold has to be really high. Something that I've been thinking about recently, and I will warn you that this probably doesn't make much sense, because it's all just very rough ideas in my brain. Maybe one day I'll talk about it in more detail, but I had a conversation with someone recently that sort of blew my mind. He was saying that he believes that humanity is very primitive, and he went into detail about what he means by it, but my takeaway, I don't even know if we were talking about the same thing at that point, but I had a different takeaway that kind of had me thinking. So I sometimes feel very pessimistic about this world. I'm like, what's the point? All the evil people are always at the top and doing a lot of damage, and there are good people in this world, but the good people end up being punished in some way, blah blah blah. Like I tend to feel very pessimistic sometimes. I tend to feel like the world is a terrible place, and even if I try my hardest to do good, there's no point. We're gonna like combust anyway, you know? But that gave me a new perspective. It was the idea that it doesn't make sense for us to be so stupid as a human race. It doesn't make sense for us to be at war or committing genocide or like dog eat dog world. Like when we talk about, so I guess what we were talking about, or maybe what he was talking about, or maybe what I understood from it. So whatever that is, the way I understood it or I thought about it was in a future, like a very dystopian, futuristic world where more or less peace and unity has been achieved. I currently don't think that's possible. I think that is so far from what we can reach. But then if we think about it, if we zoom out and not think about it in terms of our lifetimes or even the lifetimes of our children, maybe there is a version of our world out there that is far less violent and depressing than the one we have now. And the way I thought about it was, he talked about us being very primitive, as in it just makes sense for us to have learned from our mistakes one day, historically speaking, you know? Have learned from our mistakes, meaning, for example, we had some world wars twice, right? To know that world wars are not very conducive to everybody, you know, it doesn't help anybody out there. To learn from mistakes like that and to keep learning from mistakes to the point where one day it'll be a significantly better place. I don't know if that makes sense. And it blew my mind because some evidence I guess I have for that is, if you think about it, we are very new. Like, if you zoom out and think about the history of humans compared to the rest of the history of this earth, let alone like the history of this universe and this galaxy and other galaxies that we don't even know exist, we're so small, you know? And if you think about it, even in terms of evolution and then turning into humans, we haven't been humans for all that long. And we think we're the smartest, most intelligent race on this earth, and that probably is true. But we haven't even existed for all that long. And if you think about it, things like gender equality was only in the past maybe half century or century. Not even. And gender equality seems so logical, right? Don't you think? Like, it's so illogical to think that just because, you know, some people have uteruses and others have testicles or whatever, that one would be less intelligent and less capable of making decisions and being equally respected members of society because of the change in anatomy that has absolutely nothing to do with what's up here, which is how we run this world, you know? So things like that, they're so new. So maybe we really are so primitive. Give it like a couple thousand years, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much. Maybe we won't be so stupid anymore, you know? So in a way, that gave me a lot of hope, because I guess whenever I thought about optimism and having faith in this world, I've never really thought about it in terms of anything more than maybe a couple generations, right? Like, the maximum that I can imagine myself thinking about is my children or my grandchildren, maybe my great-grandchildren. And sometimes I even think about, or I get sucked into the the dialogue about how we might not even last a couple generations from now because of climate change or stupid people that are gonna like bomb up the whole world or whatever, right? But if I try to zoom out and think about it in terms of many, many generations from now, and they might not even be my bloodline, like that part doesn't even matter, right? Just many, many generations from now, maybe one day there'll be a time where we have actually learned so much from our mistakes and the world won't be such a terrible place. And because of that, it might not be worth me overthinking the current moment and the current day and time. Now, that doesn't mean I should necessarily let go and stop giving a crap about important issues, right? I think I should give a crap. I think everyone should care to some extent, but I don't think that maybe this is one argument for why it shouldn't dull our reason to keep trying. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, and then I wanted to add, so why do I want to make this habit? Because I've been thinking about, why do I even bother vlogging, right? Like, is it kind of cringe to be vlogging? I worry about that a lot. I worry about looking cringe. But one of the reasons why I like vlogging, I realize, is that I have really bad memory. All my friends know this. Like, I'll forget entire events or entire hangouts, and it's really fun to look back and be like, oh, on this day at this time, this is what I was thinking and this is what I was doing. Even just like 2 years back, I'll watch some vlogs from like 2 years ago and I'm like, wow, I didn't know I did that day. You know, like that memory wouldn't exist if I didn't have it documented, which is not the right way to live life, but it happens to be true in my case. So part of why I want to start ending videos with random things I've been thinking about recently is to sort of document how I've changed over the years. Like, even if no one watches this, maybe 10 years from now, I'll look back and be like, this is how I was thinking. This is what I was concerned about. Maybe what I was concerned about had no merit. Like, it was nothing to be worried about. Or maybe it was something worth thinking about. And, like, it changed my life or whatever it was. You know, like, I just want to be able to document myself. And if you watch future videos and you don't want to listen to me ramble at the end because you just want to watch the studying related part of the vlog, then feel free to like hop off as soon as you reach this point. Thank you, and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.